Yeah. What it do? This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Welcome to another show and happy International Women's Day. This is Women's Month, and so we are highlighting all these powerful women making moves in all facets of life, industry, etc., etc. And so I want to give a big shout out to my partner in crime, Mr. Kevin Carr. He's not going to be able to make it tonight, but he will be back next week. But in the meantime, in between time, let's talk about what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment. So when we talk about sports and entertainment, first and foremost, happy belated birthday to Shaq. And today is my man Kenny Smith's birthday. Today is his birthday, and yesterday was his mother's birthday. Rest in peace in the world of sports. And also, latest news, Mr. Seahawks, Russell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos for a fourth-round pick. They're getting a fourth-round pick, and they're getting Russell Wilson. The Seahawks are going to get Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick. Woo-wee! Things are shuffling in the NFL. Speaking of football, I just was on the phone. Got to give a big shout-out to Dame Dash and the folks with the Arena Football League getting launched here in Tampa. The whole league, that is going to have a team in Mississippi, St. Louis, and there's some spots left open. So if you are interested, just send us an email here at joel@powermovesradioshow.com, joel@powermovesradioshow.com, and I can get you more information on that. In addition to that, we want to talk a little bit about this Kanye West documentary is shutting Netflix down. It is a phenomenal documentary. Definitely check it out. No matter how you feel about the Ye is elevating his game regardless. In addition to that, he just been dismissed from Billboard magazine, even though he sold 2 million of those the music thing that he has to play his Donda 2 album, which features Game, and Game was just on Drink Champs. And if you didn't see that Drink Champs last week, definitely well worth the 4 hours. But it was very entertaining, very educational about just the protocol of whenever you enter someone else's city, you gotta pay that respect. Let's see what else is going on in the world of sports and entertainment. Got to give a big shout out to my man Light Jamal from the Bush Babies. He got a new record out called Dangerous featuring Conroy. It is fire for sure. He just performed at the Miramar Amphitheater about a couple Saturdays ago. Check it out. Next weekend, not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend, we got the Caribbean Festival, which is hosted. One of the promoters is my cousin, and Kodak Black is headlining. So definitely buy your tickets to go to Orlando, make it happen. I'm going to make an appearance. My first time, believe it or not, it's kind of crazy. Oh, I just noticed here. Uncle Luke is thinking about, by the way, Uncle Luke, 2 Live Crew. He's actually thinking about doing some politics. So that's the real briefness on what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment. Oh, sports. Speaking of sports, Kevin Durant is coming back with the Brooklyn Nets. The comeback hasn't been beneficial as much because they still lost a couple of games. However, I have hope in my Nets that we'll get it together and make things happen. So, with that being said, let's talk. Let's give you a little bit of intro of the power woman that we have today on today's show. She's a Dominican American woman, raised and educated in what my family would say New Jerusalem, the bricks, Newark, New Jersey. And at 15 years old, she became an active and conscientious community activist, compelled to support community-based organizations in affecting the disaffected. She's a first-generation graduate with a bachelor's in economics from Rutgers University, an MBA from University of Phoenix, and she has just been accepted into the DBA, PhD, DBA professor program at the doctorate program at Marymount University. And she has formalized her consulting business and served the community at large in a multitude of endeavors. She believes that financial education is the core of her personal service platform, as she strives to be an example in her family, community, and now this is the most opportune time to share her resources about a subject matter at the center of quality of life improvement for the masses. And she's always seeking to make a greater positive impact. With over 20 years experience in strategic planning, administration, management, and operations for corporations, foundations, and charitable organizations, she develops the strategic business infrastructure with holistic enterprise plans to facilitate workshops for clients, executive teams in compliance, and orchestrates process refinement of operations, grant and proposal writing, fund development, and financial education, and more. With her fresh approach to culture refurbishment in any organization, her forward-thinking personal leadership coaching and team building activities have garnered awards and acknowledgement from domestic and international organizations. With that being said, she has raised millions of dollars for various individuals, domestic and international organizations, and her work attracts results. Let's welcome to the show, Sharon Salvador.
Thank you, Joel. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So tell us what's new, what's going on, and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the acknowledgement. I appreciate that intro. Women's International Day is a very important day in Women's History Month, especially given all the tragedies that are happening, during this time. So it's important to acknowledge the women who are being strong for their families in such calamities, right? And in the world. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on our show, Sharon. We truly appreciate your talents, especially, how you help people get to the bag. Like, how do you do that?
So first we gotta define what the bag is, right? It's not the same for everyone. Some people think that a dream is their attainment of a dream is part of the bag. Some people need tangible assets. So I am more of a listener. I kind of discern and determine what the real hard line to being ready is. We separate the emotional from the dream phase and be able to get to the hard line of really getting to the financial and the time commitment that it takes to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is cut out for it, though a lot of people do need and benefit from entrepreneurship. So, doing the research, getting down to the brass tacks of not what the research says in favor of your own position, but rather what the global market is really saying about whether it's your product or your brand. So it's there's
Hello? Uh-oh. Are you there, Sharon? There you go. I think you're unfrozen now.
technology. My signal is strong.
We can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, so again, like I said, the bag is to be defined by you. What's in the bag? Is it tangible? Is it money? Is it acclaim? Is it awards? And we get to the brass tacks of the hard line of what it really takes. No excuses on getting the bag. So I listen, I discern, and we get to the brass tacks.
I'm happy you talk about that. So when you help secure the bag, how do you help them make sure that they're responsible with that money or with those resources, right? Because can you share with the audience that you can always ask for the money, and when the money comes, what happens next?
Right. So you have to be ready, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Mm-hmm.
So doing the research and knowing what you're eligible for, right? There's loans, there's grants, there's government contracts, there's a whole lot of sources out there. It's endless. But if you don't have the infrastructure, if you don't have the policies, the procedures, the systems in place to, one, benefit from the money and then be able to make the best use of the money, then you then may fall out of what we call compliance, right? You are at the risk. That's an exposure that you set yourself up for. So you have to be prepared to know where every dollar is going to go.
Okay. So how long does someone take to set themselves up operationally so that they don't fall out of compliance?
Okay. Well, it depends on the entrepreneur, to be honest. How much time and how much commitment are they willing to make? What sacrifices? Because it takes a lot of sacrifices to be able to be positioned in the right way for you to be able to manage. So that you don't fall out of compliance, you one have to do the research and be prepared with that research so that you don't fall out of compliance, having your legal policies in place or your financial policies in place, operations. Having a team is important. So most entrepreneurs, they go into business and then they're in the business versus working on the business. Right? They're a part of infrastructure versus managing and overseeing the operation. So it can take anywhere between 60 to 90 days to really set forth a good business plan. And that, it requires some thinking. If you've already thought about all of the reasons why, right? If your why makes you cry, then you have the tenacity and the fire to go after your goal. And so being able to know exactly when being laser focused on your goal, that'll help.
I like that. If the why makes you cry, why makes you cry? I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to use that. I'm going to take that one.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I borrowed it.
Well, you know what? I'm from Brooklyn. Brooklyn be taking it. That's the motto. So how much money have you secured for businesses? I mean, you would raise millions of dollars. I mean, what does that look like? This is your time to brag, girl.
Okay, so wow. Okay, I'll give you an example, a couple of examples. So I have a few clients, some nonprofits. I have a pretty even mix of nonprofit and for-profit clients. Depending on what phase of development they're in, if they just started out, it's likely that I can get them ready for some financing, some traditional financing within a year. And at that point, like we're talking six figures by that point, right? So we were within a year, we can secure six figures. That catapults a small business if you're ready and you build the infrastructure over that time. So a couple of nonprofits that I've worked for, we've been able to raise millions of dollars. I want to say at least $1 million or $2 million in 1 year span with fundraisers, with grant writing and donorship. So it takes a couple of different strategies to be able to to raise the millions of dollars. So multiply that times, say, 8 a year. We're almost 10 million in a year.
Woo-wee, you bringing in the money, honey. You bringing in the money. Well, you know what? We got to go on break because we got to pay some commercials. So speaking of money, right? So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We're going to see you after the break, after we pay some bills. Only on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. All right, we back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. I got Sharon Salvador here in the place to be with her business consulting company, sharing how to get to the bag, how she supports big, small to medium-sized businesses, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, to really help them grow their business. So with that, can you share with us how did you get started, and how did you discover your talent of being able to get access to all these different funds and strategies?
So there was an action, right? That may have led to acknowledgement. Someone had a meeting, someone called, and I guided them through the process, led them by the hand. I have to be honest. So I've been involved in the community since a youngster. Cultural events, pageants, everything that you could think of. I'm very extracurricularly involved, right? And I remember writing a proposal, and we were taking it to different businesses to get ad money for fundraising. I mean, we were just trying to gather some money to do this event. And it wasn't until I got to college and I was 18 years old at Rutgers that I realized, oh, this is called proposal writing. It was a proposal writing class. I'm like, oh, okay. I know where to find sources of money. And they taught me, I formalized my training as an undergraduate in these classes, right? So I just knew that I loved writing. I love networking. I love, just dealing in process. So I can't say that I can pinpoint the exact moment where I discovered it, but I can say that I was very passionate about what I was doing. And that just led to acknowledgement from others.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like to me you leverage your talent for writing, and then once you went into school, you were able to say, you know what, this is a skill that's going to pay the bills. Let me take this proposal writing class, as opposed to saying, let me take this basket weaving class for college credit, right?
Right.
All right. So, where where did you figure that out? Because most folks in college don't think like that. So, where does your power come from? Like, how are you able to think critically like that and to position yourself for a lifelong career?
I can't hear you, Joel. Sorry. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Oh, what I was saying is, most college students don't grasp the importance of trying to grab skills. They usually do basket weaving or take electives that are pretty frivolous, right? But you had the foresight to be able to say, you know what, let me take this proposal writing class because I knew who I was as a writer, as a good writer, to do this. Where did that come from?
Well, at an early age, right? I went to a vocational high school. And so during my time in the vocational high school, I got my trade. I knew the value of work. I've been working since 14 years old. So once I knew that I wanted to get to college, I wanted to leverage that and make the best of it. I kind of already knew what my track was going to be. I knew business was going to be, economics. To be honest, I fell into economics because it was such a broad spectrum of so much information that I fell in love with it because I knew that it was going to leave me with more options. My goal in life was to make sure that I was financially secure and that I had options. And so that led me to really be focused on my selection of coursework. Besides the fact, as well, I was paying for school. It wasn't just scholarship. There was still a balance. I was paying for housing. I had my scholarships were limited, and it wasn't a full ride for as much as I wanted it, for as much as I may have earned it with my straight A's in high school. Financially speaking, I was first generation. I had expenses. I had to, support home as well. So I had that focus from early on. So not all kids this generation understand that value of having to work.
Oh, we just lost you. There you go. I see you. We missed what you just said. Lost the value of. Can you hear me? Yeah, we missed you. All right, we hear you now.
What was the last thing you heard?
Most people don't see the value of, and then that was that.
Of the work that it takes and being focused. I was fortunate to have that work experience from a young age. I started working when I was 14. So I had to pay for school. I had to pay for my expenses, pay for my books. My scholarships didn't pay for everything. I had housing expenses as well. And I had to help the house. I had to send money back home because I was first generation college student. I was still expected to support the household. All that, I had to make sure that I was focused.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, the fact that you did is kudos to you because most people can't share that type of a story, right?
Right.
And obviously, can you explain the importance of education and how that's a superpower? Because you have your MBA and congratulations, been selected with Marymount to get your doctor in business administration for data analytics, right? So kind of share with us a little bit about that.
Education has always been important. I feel and I know in my core and have been brought up with the belief that education is an open door. It's an open door out of poverty. It's an open door to opportunities. And that belief has carried me through not just life experience, but having a formal education has always been important to me. It validates that one, you know a skill and you're expert in a field that you are comfortable in, that you can be a leader in. So that's where I value education. It's always been the window and the door to opportunities.
Specifically, how has your MBA helped you in your career?
So I leveraged my master's in business. I use my own clientele as case studies, which not a lot of people do. It was to validate my brand, and just stamp it with a seal of approval from myself that I can do it for myself and that I can have the credential. It's important to value that the world. I'm a woman, first of all, right? I'm a minority woman.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are stacked against me already. So what can I do to stand out? And so education, formal education, the MBA, validating my cases through case studies was specifically how I was able to leverage my MBA, my education.
Nice. So as you've established yourself as a global power catalyst, how did you build your reputation? Because we didn't say what your involvement is with international organizations, but can you kind of share that with folks, and how did you get picked to be a distinguished, power catalyst for that organization?
So part of my exposure has been through networking. And networking has allowed for me to be in places and spaces that not a lot of people that look like me, woman, minority, are able to enter. Working with the Council for Trade and Investment Promotion, CTIP, and the suite of companies has brought me to a place where I sometimes had to be forceful, a little forceful, sometimes be observant. And in the observation phase, when you kind of read the room, opportunities for fruitful discussions take place. All of a sudden, the scenario for sensible dialogue presents themselves. And once that discussion opens, opportunity presents itself. So I've been fortunate to be in the right place at the right time. And because I've been called into those spaces and places to do what I do, right? Which is to be that listener, to be that discerning voice and that listening ear for really getting to the truth of the matter and just sealing the deal.
Nice. So, in your opinion, explain to our audience, as small business owners, what power moves they need to do to earn money in this climate right now.
Okay. So it's this is a challenging time, but what do they say there? The saying goes that disruption brings about opportunity. Having the opportunities that others may not, being in the right place, one, two, being focused. That is of the utmost importance. When we are going through life and circumstances overwhelm us and that take us off path, we have to make sure we can bring it back. And some more advice that I would say is that our propensity to succeed is only proportionate to our desire and our will. So I say that to say that in order to get the bag, you have to be focused, know what you want, know the market, and be able to have courageous power to go after it. Not a lot of us have the courage to speak up for ourselves. So
All right. Awesome. So speaking of speaking up for ourselves, we got to speak up for our sponsors because they got to pay some more bills. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break, here only on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break. Right, we back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We got Sharon Salvador, the business consultant here, just dropping jewels on what it takes to make the power moves, to make things happen for you and your business to thrive in this tough climate. And I definitely want to also, right now, gas prices are through the roof. Right now, the Ukrainians need our help and support. We also have our brothers and sisters that are, stuck on the border. There is a GoFundMe to send money to our, folks from the African diaspora. So please look to support them, that GoFundMe, and go from there. But getting back to the international power move that our girl Sharon Salvador does, can you share with us a little bit about some of the projects that you've done, even on a global scale, and how did you get, what was that like being in those rooms?
It was interesting. So being, if not the only woman, the only woman, only minority woman in the room, and being a part of discussions, it's almost like being in secret squirrel meetings, right? Mm-hmm. Where, folks are talking about infrastructure projects. We're talking with governments, we're talking with individuals and business owners who are on a global, international scale, from representing government. And so road projects, projects to build hospitals. I can disclose the fact that one of our companies is now on the NASDAQ. We're publicly traded now. So
wow, that's big. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That's hot off the press. And so that will now open the door to more investors being attracted to our network of different projects. We have projects almost in every continent, about to be signing contracts. So the hospital in, say, Uganda, we have another project in Spain. We have several in Africa, actually. And I think Africa's a hotspot right now. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of investors and foreign direct investment interest.
That's huge. That's so huge. Congratulations and kudos to you. That's why you make power moves over there. So, with you getting now your doctorate, tell us why this new development has helped you get an edge in business and life. Like, what is that doctorate going to do for you? This doctorate of business administration. What do you see?
Getting a doctorate will validate the fact that I have a unique gift and skill to address a unique and very neglected need in the community, in the business community. I'll be able to, through my products, whether it be books, seminars, lectures, symposiums, be able to facilitate education and be able to facilitate the broad range of experience that I have. Leveraging my knowledge base to, one, create a legacy for my family, for my nieces, for my soon maybe a child down the line. But just sharing the knowledge and passing it along to future generations. Having that tangible asset.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's how I would leverage it.
Excellent. So we're going to jump into the respect segment, being that it is Women's History Month, and you just acknowledged the fact that, you've been the only minority and woman, or no, not the only minority, but you've been the only woman in the room in these global conversations. And a lot of times women don't get their recognition and respect in business. Can you share with us an experience in which it was uncomfortable for you, but you had to fight for your respect and you demonstrated why you deserve to be respected?
Even with the team that I work with at the Council for Trade and Investment Promotion, again, being the only woman, Latina, you fight all the stereotypes that come along with that. And just being a part of the team itself was a challenge. Being in a diverse, ethnically, culturally diverse group of men, where women sometimes aren't perceived as valuable. I've had to demonstrate my worth and fight for the fact that, I do know what I'm talking about, and be able to let them see my work. Mm-hmm. My work product, thankfully, has spoken for itself. So I think that's what I've done to get respect. It's been a challenge, though. I tell you that.
Right.
But God's graced me with favor, so that's also another aspect.
With that being said, where do you see yourself? Because currently you have a book out, correct?
I am a featured author in the Network Marketing 2.0 Revealed. Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
So the book discusses the evolution of the network marketing industry back from 1950s, 1940s into what has evolved into now an opportunity for entrepreneurship. But though it's low barriers to entry, there's still some work that needs to be done. Mm-hmm. My particular work in this book talks about finding your purpose so that you're able to enjoy economic abundance. So the title of my chapter is Economics of Abundance. And I use biblical principles to get there. The Bible's been a very big foundational aspect of my life. So I use that as a tool to share in my experience.
Speaking of that, congratulations on your acknowledgement by your church as a trailblazer in business. You just recently won that reward. How does it make you feel? And this is one of many awards that you've received from a respect level. How does that help you have more confidence and respect in the business world?
Well, first, I'm humbled by it. And I truly believe that remaining humble Doesn't mean you don't have confidence. Just remaining humble in the fact that others do see the work and the work ethic, the product of your labor of love, right? And that only builds up. It really filled my heart to be able to be acknowledged, especially by my church,
Mm-hmm.
whom we volunteer, at church, and we do so much, and sometimes we feel like we're unseen, and it's a thankless job. And to be acknowledged for your contributions was very heartfelt. It was great. It was awesome, and it filled me with glee. It really did.
In your opinion, what's the significance of volunteering?
I think giving back is of the utmost importance. Even in business, it's an unlikely component, but having this corporate responsibility trend start maybe 5-10 years ago, corporate entities decided to give back in a formal way. So the employees were given opportunities to volunteer and just be able to give back, get together and be able to build some goodwill in the communities that they serve. So volunteerism plays a key role because one, it expands your network, and two, you're able to build a goodwill in the community where your reputation and your brand gets cemented, right? When you're in a place of stakeholders, you're respected because though you give some back and you pay it forward, you're able to build your brand, and you're able to build business, and more money comes your way, believe it or not. One, especially in the nonprofit sector, you have philanthropic entities that are built specifically to give, and they have to give to worthwhile causes. They're not going to give to someone or a company or a nonprofit that's not doing good by the people.
Gotcha. Um, with that being said, can you describe the differences of these funding sources for nonprofits, and then maybe some funding opportunities for for-profit businesses?
So there's grants out depending on what the intent in business is. So depending on the specialized service that you're providing, there may be funding described sometimes for for-profits in the form of a loan, in the form of a government contract, procurement. There's angel investment, venture capitalism. In the philanthropic side, there's foundations, there's bank foundations specifically, philanthropic efforts from private donors, from family offices, or even stewardship accounts. There's grants. There's also loans available. The SBA is a great resource, the Small Business Administration. But again, you have to qualify. You have to position yourself in a place where you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You have to be in compliance, right?
Right.
You have to have that infrastructure set in order to earn a grant. You just because you apply for a grant doesn't mean you're always going to get it. You have to demonstrate performance in order to obtain a grant. So those are the two key differences: the philanthropic aspect of the nonprofit world and some of the venture capitalist loans, traditional financing options.
So would you say that the biggest challenge, well, you know what, I'm not going to lead, I'm going to ask you direct. What is the biggest challenge that you find that your clients face?
So themselves, they themselves are their own challenge. Sometimes they're dreaming so big, which I encourage, that sometimes they lose the focus. And so part of what I do is direct them into getting to the brass tacks, into the paper. If it's not on paper, it just, no one's going to see it. And so I help crystallize their thinking and their dreams onto paper. Once it's on paper, you can design and build and do whatever you want. So the biggest challenge has always been for me getting my clients to write their thoughts down. Believe it or not. I really encourage journaling because when you're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary, you're seeing things that no one else is seeing. And it is so important to capture this imagery, these visions that you're getting, and be able to share them and articulate them in a way that someone else can believe it and see it with you.
All right. Well, you know what? Speaking of believe and believing, we believe to make sure that we have our sponsors get their just due and their visions highlighted on our commercials. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break in 2 and 2. All right, we back with Sharon Salvador, the business consultant, getting people to the bag and providing the compliance and operations that you need to keep your business going. That last record during the commercial break was from, the name of the song is called Loyalty. You can find it, Loyalty, on Bedrock Records, the Mount Vernon, money earning Mount Vernon, my man Reggie Huggins and his crew over there in Mount Vernon. So Sharon, kind of shared with us, what I was thinking about is currently some of the services that you provide and how that's been very beneficial for businesses, such as the compliance. I mean, you were definitely harping on compliance, operations. I want you to kind of get a little bit more detailed on what you offer folks. This is time for you to do your commercial so that we can bring business your way.
Okay. So part of what I offer, because my services range between for-profits, nonprofits, Consortium building is one of my services. It's not just proposal writing and grant writing. Business plans are definitely important. And I am now expanding into offering virtual assistants so that I can duplicate the business development and the grant writing services that I provide. The agency work that I do for individual clients range between administrative, financial services such as bookkeeping, as well as other administrative functions like operations management. So those would be the main five, the virtual assistants in administrative, bookkeeping, as well as the grant writing and the business plans and the strategic plans.
Excellent. So how do people find you, do business with you, Sharon? What's the deal?
You can reach me at SharonSalvador.com. That is my website. My email is Sharon@SharonSalvador.com. And feel free to email me, go to my website, reach me that way. Can I give my phone number? Is that allowed?
Yeah, you can. This is your commercial.
The number to call is 973-760-7155. And here I am, open for business, para servirle, at your service.
Now repeat your information once again, website and as well as phone number, and also make sure you highlight the fact that you're bilingual.
Yes. Oh, I don't hear you. I don't see you now. But so you can reach me at SharonSalvador.com, by email Sharon@SharonSalvador.com, or by phone 973-760-7155. I am bilingual, Spanish and English, and my team is trilingual.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for a great show, and happy International Women's Month once again. Thank you for joining us and making it happen once again. This was another great episode of Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We will see you next week, baby.